Hey there, Raw fans. So, we have the September 10th edition of Raw just came and went. It was in Nolens, Louisiana. Not a bad little city. Been there a few times. Going there again in a couple of weeks. But that's not what you want to hear. You want to hear about my thoughts on Monday Night Raw. It was a okay show, interesting show, considering that we're going into Hell in a Cell this weekend, and what turned out to almost really be a 3 hour clip show. And for those of you that are not familiar with clip shows, there was a time uh, years ago with sitcoms where when they had nothing else better to do, the entire episode they would just pretty much show clips from previous episodes. So it was called a clip show, and that's what kind of felt here. So let's get started. So Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre, and Braun Strowman come out to the ring, and they're followed by everybody that helped them out last week. We have KO, Ascension, Elias, Authors of Pain, Mojo Rawley, Jinder Mahal, and a few other guys around. You can't really see them, but you kind of see them. They're surrounding the ring while the other three are in the ring. Now, first thing they do is they show a clip of what happened last week. And they show, everybody getting arrested and, going and coming back and getting taken out. Whatever. Braun calls his guys the Dogs of War. I mean, seriously, somebody actually wrote this. Alright, moving on. So they say, okay, in Hell in a Cell, we're going to take you out, blah, blah, blah. And then we hear the Shield's music. Shield does their thing, come through the audience, takes everybody out. And when I say everybody out, every one of these guys that, are supposed to support the Dogs of War get taken out, with a couple of punches. But, they have to have more. And right out of a scene from The Grapes of Wrath, they have axe handles. Axe handles? Oh my word. And they proceed to put the beat down on everybody. And Braun and Ziggler and McIntyre, the dogs, retreat while everybody else is laid out. Okay. Not like we haven't seen this before. Then we cut to the Bella twins. That's an excellent segue there. And they go into this tiny little room, and I'm trying to figure out, was this locker room for all the ladies or just for the Bellas? Because it was tiny. I've seen bathrooms at McDonald's bigger than this. And it's defaced with the Riot Squad. And when I say defaced, I mean you see like a little bit of writing here and there and a couple of things knocked over. And nothing really intimidating, if you ask me. But somehow that sets up a match between Nikki Bella and Ruby Riott. Cut the commercial, come back. And we have Baron Corbin, the constable, the interim general manager, whatever. Baron Corbin telling the Shield. And right behind Baron Corbin is like a set of guys that are supposed to be cops. And I swear, they look like baggers from the Piggly Wiggly. They don't look like cops. I've seen cops. I've interacted with cops. These guys, my friend, were not cops. And so they say something about if they don't leave, if the Shield doesn't leave, they have to lose their titles or something and go to jail and blah, blah, whatever. Makes no sense. So they go, okay, whatever. And they drop the axe handles and leave. And we get to our match with Nikki Bella and Ruby Riott. Now, I don't hate the Bella twins. But I'm not huge fans of them either. But I am a fan of Ruby Riott. Back when she was with NXT. She's actually a decent wrestler. And when they brought her and the other two up, I was like, okay, these guys can kind of do something here. They have their little faction. They can kind of go against the good guys, if you will. And, you know, between the Ruby Riott and the other two, and I forget the names, Mandy Rose and the other lady who dresses up like a Viking or whatever, or says she has Viking blood. I'd figure, you know, they could have some decent matches with, you know, Sasha Banks, Bailey, or Amber Moon. You know, between the three of them and the other several capable women wrestlers, have some decent, good matches. But no, we have Ruby Riott versus Nikki Bella. And I'm hoping beyond hope, but I know it's not working out, that Ruby Riott's going to win. And for the most part, she dominates the entire match. Only for, you know, at the end, Nikki, you know, catches one of her kicks, puts her in a rack attack. 2.0, mind you. And gets the win. And all I can think to myself is, why are we bringing up exceptional talent from NXT only to have them to become basically over-the-top jobbers? I mean, we're seeing this over and over, guys. And I really do plan on doing a video on this, because you had these guys come up from NXT, incredibly talented, and they're just being wasted on the main roster. And we'll see this again tonight. Okay? Another example comes up. Alright, so we go to a segment of Connor's Cure. And that's a good charity if you would like to donate to that. And then we come to another clip of the Shawn Michaels and the Undertaker segment from last week. So that's kind of, you know, clip number 2. Like I said, this is kind of a clip show. Then we come out with the Authors of Pain, and they're wearing new gear, and their new manager, and I swear I forget his name, but he kind of reminds me of Spike Dudley. I mean, as soon as I saw him, I was like, oh, you put some glasses on him. And we have Spike Dudley 2.0. For those of you that don't remember who Spike Dudley is, you can look him up. He was a very small guy. Worked with the Dudley Boys. Got tossed around a lot. That's what I see when I see him with the Authors of Pain, because I swear, the guy is so short and so tiny compared to the other two. It just doesn't look right. Of course, they have a squash match with some two dudes who, I don't know what they were trying to represent. Anyway, 2 seconds later, the match is over. Moving on. Then we go outside of the arena, the Smoothie King Arena in New Orleans. Nolans. I like smoothies. I like Smoothie King. We go to outside of the arena, and we see the cops standing out there. Cops, I'm using the word very loosely. And Triple H comes up. Now, when I said these guys didn't look like cops, that's just me. But at this time, my wife, who she kind of watches wrestling from time to time. She sees these guys and goes, "Oh my word, these guys look more like strippers than cops." And believe me, they don't even look like strippers, but still, that's pretty bad. Alright, so Triple H comes down to the ring, and he talks about last week's segment between Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker, and goes on and on and on and on and on about respect, blah, blah, blah. Now, I don't know if the crowd was just naturally dead, but the crowd, for Triple H, usually he can get the crowd going, and the crowd just wasn't into it. Finally, Triple H says, "Okay, I'm going to put you down in Australia at the Super Show." Alright. What did you expect him to say? Okay. So now we have another match. Tag team. It's a rematch. Ziggler and McIntyre versus the B team. B team. Go, go, go. Oh my word. If you haven't heard my previous videos, or podcasts, or whatever you want to call these things, I like the gimmick, but I can't stand that song. I mean, the song is just awful. And it's pretty apparent, to me at least, that nothing's going to happen here. I mean, we could get a swerve and the B team could win it back, but I really doubt that's going to happen with the way they're going into Hell in a Cell. So we have this quick match here. And what's even more annoying than seeing two guys go down to the ring yelling, B team, go, 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 is watching them wrestle, saying, B team, go, go, go. They actually wrestled using that chant. I think it was like 2 kicks and 3 punches. So Curtis Axel would come out, 2 kicks, 3 punches, saying B team, go, go, go. Then he would hit tag Bo Dallas, and he would do the same thing. Oh my word. It's like they knew I hated that chant and was going to say it as many times as possible. Anyway. Before you know it, the match is over. Ziggler and McIntyre won. And lo and behold, Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose come out of the audience and start putting the beat down on them. And Ziggler and McIntyre run up the ramp. And of course the announcement team is like, "Oh, now they have to lose titles or go to jail." Whatever. We know that that's not going to happen. So then we go to clip number 3. And since, WWE's been on for 40 plus years, we pull up Hell in a Cell between Mick Foley and Undertaker from 20 years ago. And of course we see the same footage we've seen, unless you're a new fan, over and over, of Undertaker throwing him off the top of the ring, through the ring, onto thumbtacks. I mean, I didn't see it live when it happened. I forgot exactly what I was doing. I was probably working at the time. I was working like 2 jobs 20 years ago. Young man trying to support his young family. But anyway, I've seen the clips enough times to know what happens. So we watch that for the next few minutes. And then we have Kevin Owens comes out to the ring. And we get to see the clip number 4 of what he did to Bobby Lashley the week prior. Now, before Kevin Owens gets a chance to talk, we cut to Baron Corbin, and they're talking about some crap about the Shield wasn't out there. It was Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. Yeah, they found a loophole. And at the same time, they have their own cop who's going to arrest Baron Corbin for something or another, for false report or whatever. And then Baron says, oh, maybe we can work something out. And then we get to this whatever where Dean and this cop or whatever are outside, and they say, hey, thanks for blah. I really wasn't paying attention, didn't really care. Let's move on. But that guy looked more like a cop than all those other guys did. Okay. Yes, this is our Raw. Alright, so Tyler Breeze comes down to the ring to face Kevin Owens, another NXTer who has been woefully underutilized. I mean, his gimmick with Fandango was pretty okay, but even then, they were never taken really seriously. And before he even gets to the ring, Kevin Owens takes him out. Example number 2 of NXT talent being wasted. And then Kevin Owens grabs the microphone and starts to say something about he's mad at Bobby Lashley for hurting Sami Zayn, his friend. Of course, you know, if you've watched those two, they've been friends and enemies for like years, so whatever. But the fact that Bobby Lashley had the match with Sami Zayn, that awful program, like over a month ago, now Kevin Owens wants to hurt Bobby Lashley. So Kevin Owens had a program with one huge guy, with Braun Strowman, and basically got thrown all around. And how does he react to that? By picking a fight with the second or third biggest guy on Raw. Alright. Whatever. My thoughts on that, and they could have done that, that's not a problem. With the fact that, you know, he says he quits and then comes back a week later to put the beat down on Bobby Lashley, didn't make a whole lot of sense. I would say is, you know, you have him quit, you don't see him for a few weeks, and then during a Bobby Lashley match on Hell in a Cell with whoever, have Kevin Owens come out and attack him and have him lose. At least that way you kind of build up of where the hell is Kevin Owens. But having him come back a week later after he says he quits, I don't know. Just doesn't do it for me. Okay. Let's keep this going, guys. We're hitting almost the 19-minute mark. So we have our favorite tag team, our perfect strangers, our odd couple, Bobby Roode and Chad Gable. They're coming to the ring. It's playing Bobby Roode's music. Chad Gable doesn't even have music. And he's constantly trying to emulate Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode's out there with his robe, doing his strut, having his arms out. I swear Bobby Roode might as well just adopt the woo and call himself Ric Flair 2.0. Chad Gable sits there and you know, like I said, he's and I could have sworn it's a match against the Ascension. I think this is the same match they had last week. So it's a rematch. I swear we have rematches every Raw, like 4 rematches. And it starts off the same way. Chad throws everybody around with German suplexes and reverse suplexes, and I mean, for a small guy, he can do all these things pretty cool. Then the shield, I mean the shield, the Ascension, get the better of him, start taking him out, and then Bobby Roode gets the hot tag, starts, getting the moves in, and just as he's about to do his glorious move, Chad Gable sneaks in the tag and does his rollover suplex and gets the pin. Same thing as last week. Okay. But you can kind of see where this is going, where Chad is kind of trying to steal Bobby Roode's thunder. Maybe we'll see Chad in a robe in a couple of weeks. Start doing the strut. I give it a month before this kind of blows up. At least, or if the WWE has their way, they'll either blow it up in 2 weeks, or they'll forget about it next month, and then all of a sudden have them fight each other 6 months from now, and everybody's forgotten about what's going on. Now, if we haven't had enough tag team matches, we're going to have another one. And this time, it's Alexa Bliss and Mickie James versus Ronda Rousey and Natalya. Actually, this wasn't that bad of a match, because this one actually has some storyline to it, and it had a strategy to it. Obviously, Ronda Rousey is supposed to be this, super tough, MMA fighter. So what they do, they go after Ronda Rousey's ribs. And I'm kind of get the feeling that, they know they're going to lose. But if they can get her ribs throughout the match, maybe they'll win at Hell in a Cell. So I thought that was an interesting take. And of course, somewhere in the middle of the match, Ronda Rousey and Natalya do the heart attack. The move from the Heart Foundation back in the 80s and 90s. Now, for those of you that remember the heart attack from the 80s and 90s, you saw the move last night and went, yeah, that's not it. But I'll give her a pass. Natalya's father passed away a couple weeks ago. They're trying to honor the man. That's okay. That's all good. So they win the match. And as they're celebrating, arms up, everybody's happy. Alexa Bliss does a drop kick to Ronda Rousey's ribs. Clean shot. That was pretty cool. Probably would have been better if she had, grabbed an axe handle. But hey. All right, so we're getting close to the end of the show here, and we have Elias in the ring. I love Elias. And of course, since we're in New Orleans, and, New Orleans is the home of the New Orleans Saints, Elias has to give his 2 cents on the Saints and Drew Brees. And he had asked, did the Saints win last night? Or on Sunday? And of course, the crowd goes nuts. Because, they gave up 48 points to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 48 points. So the crowd is going nuts. I'm enjoying it. Wife, not so much. She's a Saints fan. I'm a Falcons fan. We're rivals. But we'll get into that another day. But while he's talking, we hear the crash of and the music to our our fun-loving Mick Foley, Dude Love, Cactus Jack. Bang bang! He comes out to the ring, starts saying something about Hell in a Cell, and that he's going to be the special guest referee at Hell in a Cell. And I think it's the match between Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman. That's going to be interesting. And I guess he gets to set up a match tonight. He's either the new general manager or general manager of the night. It wasn't really clear to me. But he's going to set up a match between Elias and Finn Balor. Now, I like Finn Balor. I've been a fan of Finn Balor since I saw him in NXT. I really didn't, I really don't watch the New Japan stuff or anything outside of WWE just because I don't have the time. But, I do like Finn Balor. He's cool. But I really like Elias. And Elias hasn't really wrestled. He wrestles like once a month. So they're doing their thing, and it's a halfway decent match. But Finn gets the win with a small package. A small package of all things, people. Now, like I said, I have nothing against Finn Balor, but I really wish Elias will get a win from time to time. I mean, if you're gonna squash your other NXT talent, have Elias beat them. Have him beat up Tyler Breeze and everybody else who's not being used properly. Alright. Now we go to one of the most weirdest scenes of all. We have Bobby Lashley working out in a gym. And some little dude is trying to get him pumped up. He's like, go, get it, whatever. I have no idea who this guy is. I don't know where he came from. And of course, Bobby Lashley takes off his headphones and, my man, what are you doing? And the guy's like, hey, I'm trying to get you pumped up. And Bobby Lashley goes, okay, let's get pumped up. And then this guy goes back to saying whatever. Now, whenever I see somebody, I kind of look at him and go, okay, he reminds me of so-and-so. The guy looks square like LeVar from Revenge of the Nerds. And if you've seen that movie, you'll know exactly who I'm talking about. Revenge of the Nerds, 1983, 84. Anyway, I have a feeling we're going to see this little guy more often. Oh well. So, we come to our last segment. It's the end of the show. Braun comes out to the ring demanding to see Roman Reigns. Roman shows up on the announcer's table. And then they proceed to go back and forth for a couple of seconds until Roman Reigns picks up Braun Strowman and does a Samoan drop through the floor. And then somehow Roman is able to get back up. End of show. So that was it. Raw was just okay for me. Like I said, it was pretty much a clip show. We had 4 or 5 clips there. And then with the Connor's Cure thing, that took up a bulk of the show. And everything else was either rematches or some form of a previous match. Nothing new. So this is what we're leading into Hell in a Cell. I'm gonna admit, I think Hell in a Cell is gonna be rather lackluster. But if I were to give this show a grade, I'd give it a C minus. 2 out of 4 stars. However. Anyway, what were your thoughts on Raw if you saw it? Let me know. I like hearing from you guys. Post it in the comments below. Until next time, peace.